Hey folks, my name is Pete Lewis and this is Claire Church. We own the Muse Performance Space in Lafayette. It's a venue where we host a lot of different types of concerts, and obviously there's nothing going on there right now. So we wanted to reach out to a lot of our musician friends and ask them how they're doing, what's going on, how they see this pandemic's going to affect their lives in the future, and questions like that. And today we have our friend Darren Kramer, extraordinary, talented composer, player, also in my band Polarity, and he's just a great guy. So, Darren, you want to take over, maybe play a little bit or demonstrate some things for us?
Sure.
All
Yeah,
right.
pleasure to be here. This is a very cool series you guys are doing. I know everybody's enjoying all these posts.
Thanks, man.
I feel like we should mention that we
Oh,
we knew Darren for a long time as a trombone player. We played with him in big bands and various other things, and then he went off on the road for a while and made it big. So now he lives in a mansion, and drives a Ferrari,
we'll talk
or
about
maybe
that.
it's a Maserati. But now he does more than just trombone. And don't he's still a trombone player, but he also does this whole broad range of things. And we'll let him show you what he's doing these days.
Oh, great. So I'm going to share my screen here so you can kind of see what I'm doing here with my setup. So I use Ableton Live, then I have the Ableton Push controller, and then a MIDI keyboard. And I've actually been um, having a lot of fun just recently with all these vocal samples that you can use inside Ableton, and it's really meditative for me. And now I just um, kind of stumbled on this tune that I have always loved by Ennio Morricone. It's called The Crisis, and I thought it was appropriate, so I thought I'd give everyone a little bit of nice, positive, meditative music. But this is one of the best chord progressions you could ever compose, so I'm just always excited when I play it. So hope you like this.
kind of a Tiger King growl at the end there.
Yeah, bring it, make it current.
That was beautiful, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
No,
It was fascinating to see you work with, all these controls and just create this beautiful music.
Yeah, and what's funny about this past 3 or 4 weeks is that I've realized how much I've always enjoyed just getting inside of Ableton and having it be really my band and
Mm-hmm.
not just a composing tool, but it feeds me. So it's been very interesting. This is the longest many of us have ever gone without playing a live gig. And in a strange way, I've realized that I haven't missed it that much, me personally. And I'm going, that's interesting because I've been a full-time musician my whole life. And going, because Ableton is every musician's best friend. If people don't know about Ableton Live, you should check it out because whatever you put into it, it'll, give you back tenfold. And so I really get a lot of satisfaction um, musically as a composer and a performer because I'm able to work with, such a great program. We're really lucky to have all this technology at our fingertips.
yeah.
Well, can we back up a little bit and then
Sure.
go right where we are now? So, can you tell us a little bit about like how you became a musician or what inspired you, as a kid? Was there any particular teacher, or I know your dad's a musician. Was it your dad? Was it, what's going on? Because your sister's a great musician. There was something brewing in that Kramer family, man.
Oh yeah, just lucky that way
Huh?
because my parents uh, were both musicians. So
Yeah.
my dad plays sax and my mom was piano teacher, and so lucky. When I was 3, we were sitting there taking lessons. So they encouraged us with whatever we were doing. I started in band in like 3rd grade. I was playing in a jazz band. I remember on piano playing B flat blues, and
Cute.
that stuff kind of really starts to seep in. The earlier you can start, the better.
Yeah.
But it's never too late. Also, everyone has a lot of time on their hands right now,
And
so it's good. Dive in, learn keyboard. It's really good for you. Understand some harmony. But yeah, and a lot of people here in Colorado know Sal Martorano, and he was my band director from 4th to 9th grade. And
wow.
now that I've, spent my whole life in music, I look back and go, that was so unique because he really went the extra mile. We know there's a lot of those band directors, but they're sprinkled throughout the country. And Sal Martorano was one of those, making us everyone individual tapes, giving me tapes with Bill Watrous on it and Jimmy Nepper and all these awesome Maynard Ferguson recordings. And so, yeah, I was hooked from the very beginning.
That's really awesome. Um, and so you went to school, got a music degree, came out, started playing gigs, and kind of take it from there. What kind
Yeah, I went to University of Miami because down in Coral Gables, um, just it's still one of the better jazz schools in the world, and just excited to be among a really kind of progressive program, and they were big into electronics even back then,
of,
and MIDI. MIDI
What
was new
year?
then.
What year
I
were you at
I
Miami?
I went there 87 to 92, and
Okay. I
super
have a
special.
I have a good friend that went there named Jim Trumpeter.
Oh
Piano.
yeah, yeah. He wasn't there, I don't think, when I was, but I've heard his name numerous times. We'd never met. Um, but yeah, so Miami was great, and then yeah, done lot of typical things that people do as musicians. I played on a lot of cruise ships, and I did the Disney summer program, and
Nice.
then was lucky did Broadway tours and things, and then decided I wanted to start my own band. So I came back to Colorado and did that, and that was already back in 2001.
wow.
So
Wow.
yeah.
Which is
So
a phenomenal band, and
oh, thanks.
super proud of that, man.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Anybody who has a band knows you gotta. It's a different world being a band leader, and you gotta really have a wide base of musicians to call from because everyone is busy and everyone has things and stuff comes up. So it's a challenge just always finding subs. So I write a lot of music, and I have used Finale since 1992. So I have lots of charts. So at least people have a fighting chance when they come and join a gig. They at least have the charts to read, and so yeah, it's been a really cool journey so far. And then all of a sudden, yeah, Ableton kind of took over. Got into that in '07. So 13 years, been doing it. Became a certified trainer for them. So I do workshops around the country, and now I'm doing them online. I have one on Monday with a school in New Orleans.
Wow.
Showing them kind of the basics of audio recording, and so yeah. Then I was labeled. It's my love of music. I love pop music. I love a lot of old school funk, and so I can put all those into Ableton and just be a normal DJ. But then also I love to play over it, so I play keyboards and trombone and put effects on my horn, and it's really kind of morphed into this other thing. And now, just this year, I launched my new project. It's called Electro Horns. So you can find that online, electrohorns.com. And so it's 4 live horns with my laptop, essentially.
Cool.
And it's in the infancy, and but it's going to really turn into something cool. I'm working with live visuals now, and putting together a really awesome show. Hopefully we'll be able to do it on some live venues soon, but if not, we'll start doing some streaming from, like, everyone is kind of jumping on board with.
I did hear one of your gigs last fall, and it was phenomenal.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, you came
at Roxy or what?
Roxy Broadway, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, so Gabe Mervine plays in it, and my sister Dawn Kramer, and then Drew Zaremba was on that gig. I've just had Eric Earhart record on the latest release. I've been trying to be more diligent this year about releasing music, so I've been putting out a new single every month.
Wow.
So yeah, on my 4th one now, so it's exciting, and I just released a Best of DKO CD, and so you can find that around, and that features Michael Brecker's recorded, Jerry Hay, Gary Willis, Eric Marienthal, Rick Margitza,
Wow.
then a lot of local great musicians we know of, Eric Gunnison and Bijou, and yeah, Dean Oldencott and Garrett Sayers. So yeah, it's called the Darren Kramer Organization, and I guess I'm trying to make that a real thing. It's like, come on, be part of the organization,
So if I put that link in once we post this, would that
sure
everybody where they need to go?
Yep. And yeah, so the main website I'm using these days is DJ DKO, but you can find everything there.
Okay.
And then if you want to learn anything of how I'm doing any of this fun stuff, DKO lessons. You kind of saw that here. Show that again. This little thing here, DKO lessons.
Okay.
And I might mention, I mean, I've seen so many people doing so many cool things online, and a lot of people then saying, oh, I miss playing, and I miss playing in a big band. So ironically, I'd put out this really cool thing on DKO lessons called Virtual Jazz Camp. A couple of years ago, and I just had a nice conversation with Peter Erskine last week, and I don't know if a lot of people realize that he's put out these awesome play-alongs called Jazz Essentials, and they're like 10 to 12 bucks, and they are so well done. The USC faculty, you can do mute different aspects of it, and the coolest one is the Bob Mintzer Big Band app, which allows you to mute your part and then play with the Bob Mintzer Big Band.
Wow.
And so I've actually done a walkthrough of how to use it with this virtual jazz camp. So I encourage everyone to go check that out because um, it kind of it's the next best thing to playing a live gig, and you can even record yourself into the app,
Wow.
and it's really fun. And then I kind of simulated. We all know Bob Montgomery, great educator, trumpet player around here, and I used to go to his Clark Terry jazz camps, and they're just such a perfect week of like saturation into the jazz world. And so I thought, wouldn't that be cool if you simulate that with like, how about a mock audition? And then Monday through Friday, you actually follow these steps. Go to small group. So I made an hour-long video of like we're playing tunes and let's play all the things you are. And then I stop playing for 4 bars and we simulate trading. And then go to improv class. And so then I'm talking about the details inside all the things you are and showing overviews like this, showing why stuff works to the best of my knowledge. And the big band one is very cool too. So virtual jazz camp on DKO Lessons. If you're looking for something kind of new and fun to challenge yourself during this interesting time.
Now, is there a specific time, or can people enter in any time?
Yeah, it's any time. So I just kind of simulated it like a suggested schedule that I remember all these camps being.
Yeah.
But and if you could stick it to some kind of schedule and actually open up and play along with the small group video every day for 5 days, you're gonna get better.
What
You're gonna learn things.
What level are we talking about? Could it be suitable for high school kids?
Oh yeah, and like for the CCJA kids especially, it's just like, yeah, I'm doing all those tunes, Blue Bossa, A Train, all the things you are. You someday my prince will come, and the thing is, you can do it with the video, and even if you don't play trombone, that's fine. So if you're a drummer, it's cool. But then you could just play with the app on your own, and then you're playing with these world-class musicians on the recording, and it just kind of opens up your world for how to learn and how to listen.
That's awesome, Darren.
All right.
Yeah.
Can you play a little bit through your trombone to show
Sure.
people the effects?
Yeah. So let's see how this is. That's like some crazy stuff.
A little bit of reverb in there.
Yeah. Let me switch screens and show you Ableton here.
Okay.
You can kind of see how that's going on. Oh wait, I want a new share. Interesting, it's not. Oh, there we go. Share. Are you seeing the screen?
Yeah.
then?
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Cool.
Man.
Yeah. So right here I have my electric trombone, and it's basically this mic that's built into a mute, and then I'm using Guitar Rig, and it allows me to just put some effects on my horn. And are you still seeing me,
Yeah.
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 the trombone?
See both of you.
And I kind of been having fun with this for a couple of years now. I had a friend help me design this controller, so I don't actually have any foot pedals.
Ah.
I'm just doing stuff from here. So if you notice, actually you probably can't see the plug-in Guitar Rig right now. You're probably just seeing the...
Yeah, we're
Ableton.
seeing Guitar Rig.
Oh, you are? Okay. So watch this. When I push this button here, it actually switches sounds.
Oh,
So that's
yeah.
how I can go through sounds without actually touching the computer. And now this one's awesome. It's this pulsating. And now if I change the speed of the tempo of Ableton, like I go up to 108, I'm literally holding one note. That's tuning B flat. And then I have an accelerometer built into this little gadget here. So when I put my horn like this, you can see that the pitch changes.
Oh, man.
Change sounds. This is a cool field kind of. This one is one of my favorites, this bass bone. And the accelerometer on this, check it out. It's like whole notes, then quarters, eighths, triplets as I start tilting my horn. None of that's tongued. So, yeah, there's, you know, stuff involved with getting this set up, but I'm at a point where it's kind of all turned into my instrument. Not just trombone, it's like my electric trombone rig.
Yeah.
It's kind of all encompassing, which is really cool. I even had this desk built, so it's all on wheels. You've seen it, Pete.
Yeah.
Lug it around.
Well, if someone was like, "Oh man, I'm so excited about this," you would tell them like, "It's going to take you a few weeks, a couple of months. I mean, just to get used to like, so I can get in there and start using this stuff, or a couple of days."
I think it's like, even if it's just playing trombone or playing drums, you know, it's the, you can get started right now and it's fun. It's new. If you get semi-diligent about it, in a week, you make some really decent progress. Learn from all the sources you can find, and Ableton's the same way. So I'm about to release a beginner Ableton course. I've had so many requests for it. I'm going, okay. So I've been making it all for the last 10 or 12 days. I'm going to release it on the 15th. Walk you through exactly what to do. Pull this in. Here's how you create a MIDI track. Here's how you pull in a synth that's built in, and you can play that instead of your piano. This here that you're seeing with the guitar rig, that's a plug-in that gets a little more advanced. I mean, you know, this has been years in the making and kind of being tweaked, but someone I think could make some really nice progress, 3 to 6 months, and it could transform your life, which this has done for me. So contact me. I do Zoom lessons and a lot of cool stuff on the DKO website, pre-recorded videos, and you know, jump in, join us. I'm the organizer of the Denver Ableton user group, and we've been meeting at different locations around the city, but now we're going to do our first virtual one on April 21st. So there's a Facebook page, Denver Ableton user group. Meet a lot of cool people and like-minded, you know, and you can learn a lot from them too. So we're all in this together, and this has really just been such a blessing for me, especially the last month, because it kind of gives me an opportunity to still, what I feel I'm playing with musicians, but even though they're loops and stuff, it's still very satisfying.
So I have maybe a stupid question. I mean, we want to hear you play more, but like, how does Ableton Live compare with Logic?
They're both digital audio workstation, so you'll see that around a lot. DAWs, they're called. Logic's super popular and super great.
And I've worked with it just a tiny bit, but I'm just wondering, like, how do they compare?
The biggest, they all compare quite similar as far as recording, meaning here's bar 1, here's bar 60. It's a linear fashion, left to right, and all the plugins, all the capability, MIDI tracks, audio tracks. the thing that makes Ableton Live different is because it's called Live, which they have a different view. So instead of all the tracks like this, you hit the tab and they go vertical. So then all your little musical ideas are sitting there sort of in a think tank, and it's not tied to the timeline, which actually you're still seeing that, right? Yeah.
If you close a guitar rig, we'll be able to see, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, all these are clips. So if I double click it, here's Earth, Wind, and Fire. The whole song is put in there, and I can just right now, of course, you could pull that into Logic too, but this will just loop wherever I want in the song and just hang out. And then I could scroll down 50 scenes here and pull in something else. And then I could play on top of it, and it's all going to go until I decide to do something different.
So it's more like an instrument.
It's more like, I mean, this is a live band. I want to mute the bass, I do that. But I also want to have the bass start looping and do cool stuff. Ableton just does it in a different way, and it makes it a little easier. If people are interested in it, you already have basic knowledge using Pro Tools or FL Studio or any of these other things. You can apply all that to this, and then just notice that this kind of has a little different feel, and it's super cool.
Cool.
That's awesome.
You want to play some more?
You want to do one more thing?
Yeah. So why don't I show you those same sounds? Let's pull that up one more time so people can see it if they're interested. So like, there's my Ottawa. And I'll go through a little few of those sounds as I'm going through the latest track, which I just put up on the website, April 1st, Intangible Attraction. It's from a CD called Quench, but I did a remix, and it's really, really funky, fun stuff. So you'll see me as I go through the tune. I'll go ahead and do a couple of these sounds right here, and you can kind of see it in action.
Cool.
Here we go. How about this? I'm gonna loop it.
Yeah, man, that was cool.
That's very hip, man.
It's fun to be able to watch it and
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Right now, I've been spending almost all week trying to find real viable solutions for live stream. There's a lot of info out there, but it's for people that are just talking. It's a whole nother bag when you're using something like Ableton. Plus, I'm trying to route everything together and have video with these two scenes, these two shots, and it makes it kind of hard to, because I want people to be able to see this one. and then be able to see my face too, but those kind of bog down the computer, and right now I'm coming off of one laptop, and
Yeah.
it's proving to be a little bit taxing. So I'm trying to find a good solution because I just want to start doing stuff weekly and do like live sets from here. It's been on my list, and now
It seems like
necessity is the mother of invention. So you
Yeah.
have to do that in a different way now. And so the one positive thing is I won't have to lug any of my gear around.
Yeah, there you go.
Just here in my studio.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing when that happens. I mean, it's moving fast, so we're looking forward to seeing what happens. We messed around with something called Ecamm Live for a while, and I don't know if
Yep.
you're into those guys. And I had quite a few problems with it. Sorry, Ecamm, but I wasn't super duper impressed. But you know, maybe you knowing more about it can get something out of it. But anyway, you got anything else for Darren?
Darren, do you have any parting words for the community at large? Any words of encouragement, inspiration, wisdom?
Oh, sure. I think we all have an opportunity to level up, and you know, a lot of people have been doing that. It's a scary thing, kind of being forced into a new way of doing stuff. I feel a little fortunate that I kind of been in this online thing for a while, and I've always been interested in technology, so this stuff hasn't been brand new to me. But here, what I can tell you is you're not alone, and there are so many resources now that, as you said earlier, Pete, if you're curious, you will find a way. Be open-minded and learn, and that's what you guys, I got to commend you guys. You're like pillars of the community. Everyone appreciates what you guys are doing. You're like tireless. You haven't been chilling out during any of this stuff. You're like promoting, helping local musicians here in Colorado, and it's a very cool thing. So we all appreciate it.
Thank you.
And it helps promote sort of community, but also learning. And so we all need to kind of open our minds. Jazz musicians are pretty good at that. Turn left, look over there, and go, how can I make my stuff work in that setting?
Exactly.
And I'm happy to share with what I know too. So please reach out. Let's talk on the phone, you know,
Yeah.
or do
Yeah.
Zoom meetings. It doesn't have to be texts or emails. Let's get more personal.
It's been
Yeah.
great how much I've spoken to people on the phone or on FaceTime or Zoom. Like text just doesn't, it doesn't do it anymore. I don't know what it is, but man, we really appreciate you
Yeah.
talking with us, and it was very interesting. I think a lot of people will find this interesting, especially people who may not be so much into the jazz community are going to find this very interesting. I'm going to for sure share this with my high school and college age students, and I think it's fantastic what you're doing, and you know, we love you and hope you're doing okay.
Thanks a lot, Claire. Appreciate that. Yeah, Pete, thanks so much for your help with all this, and feel free to reach out. Let's try to get your live streaming dialed in even more, like you're saying, and anything I'll learn, I'll pass it on to you guys. And
Thank
That
you.
sounds great. I'm going to end the recording
All right.
now.
Bye bye, Darren.
See you, Darren.
okay.